Be you. Be strong. Be who you were born to be. Welcome to Being Stronger with Kate Vandenbos. Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Oracle Guidance for the upcoming week of March 23rd to the 29th. I'm Kate Vandenbos, and this is Being Stronger. This reading is intended as guidance for the collective journey this week. We're going to be taking a look at the overall energy, along with any lessons our souls are being asked to explore, where we are heading this week, what's important to surrender, and who is the guardian ally that is going to be energetically accompanying us this week. As always, take what resonates as true for you and leave the rest. This is a general reading for the collective energies, and my intention is that everyone who experiences this will walk away with at least one important message that will help them navigate their own experience this week. Wow, I don't know about you, but I can certainly say for myself, the last week has been one that I won't be forgetting in a long time. Change in life is inevitable. It's part of the natural cycle of every living thing, and it's up to each of us how we choose to experience change. There's the old saying that the only thing in life that's certain is change. Just like the seasons, the transfer of the caterpillar to the butterfly, the acorn becoming a mighty oak, there are parts of the cycle that are uncomfortable, uncertain, dark. But I think we can all agree that the end result is a beautiful masterpiece of nature. So I invite you to choose to experience your life in that same way, trusting that the days where you're feeling uncomfortable, uncertain, under immense pressure, dark, and maybe even alone, that you imagine you are a seed that has been planted. How would you choose to show up differently in your life if you believe that? Where would you put your focus and your energy? Speaking of focus, let's take a look at this upcoming week. Astrologically, we have an important date that is going to be contributing to the overall energy this week too. After last week's equinox, spring here in the Northern Hemisphere, fall in the Southern Hemisphere, this week we have the new moon in Aries happening on March 24th at 4:28 a.m. U.S. Central Time. So what's the significance of this? Well, it's the beginning of the astrological new year, which ushers in a new cycle for all of us. So the changes we're experiencing are not unexpected. The energy associated with Aries is fire, the warrior spirit, passion and creativity, being brave, taking action. The new moon is the perfect time in the lunar cycle to set new intentions. So with this new moon in particular, the themes to pay attention to are taking action. The time for dreaming is over. It's time to go. Even if you cannot literally go outside and go somewhere, harness the energy of making your creative projects a reality. What have you been putting off that you are being called to make happen? What are you aching to create right now? Make a plan. It's the perfect time to reconsider who you are and where you want to go next. Use this internal reflection time wisely. Time spent planning is never wasted. Be courageous. Where can you be bolder in your decisions? What are you afraid of? By acknowledging the fears, you shine a light on them. Gremlins and goblins can only survive in the dark and the shadows. Bring them out into the light of day and you will disable all of their power. Have the courage to turn the light on and face your fears. Have some spontaneous fun. I know that might seem like the last thing you feel like doing right now, but it's the perfect time to connect with your inner child. When you are feeling disconnected from others, take the time to reconnect with yourself. Spend some time looking at the world through the eyes of a child. It's okay to play. It's the best way to tap into your creativity. Focus on you. Again, something that might not be coming naturally to some of you right now, but as we discussed last week, you are the most important priority right now. Your self-care is essential. Without your cup full, you have nothing to give to others. Respectfully take the time and space that you need to be able to recharge your batteries in whatever way works for you. Get grounded. You're going to need all of the energy you have available when it comes time for your acorn to burst forth its first shoots of new life. The tarot major arcana that represents Aries is the Emperor. The Emperor energy is all about leadership, practicality, discipline, focus, determination. And not only focusing your energy on what is important and productive, but also acting rationally and making decisions that are also best for the greater good. So as this new moon energy kicks us off early this week, this is the oracle guidance that came through to help guide us through to the end of the upcoming week. The overall energy was trust and desert vision. In the desert, it may seem on the surface that it's devoid of all life. It's a landscape that is often associated with vision quests, spiritual cleansing, renewal, and healing. In your life, when things on the surface seem parched and barren, take a minute to tune into your inner knowing. Meditate. Trust the nudges that you're getting from the universe and your guides, and this reading could be one of those nudges. Be open to receive messages from your intuition. You have to trust your intuition. It's underneath the surface all of the time, and it's abundant, just like the life in the desert that you cannot see, but it's thriving below the surface. You're being reminded now that in order to create the life you want, you have to believe it to see it. The power of your mind and your intention is immense. Manifest what you desire into your life and trust that it's coming to you. So things that caught my attention about this card particularly is water. Although the intended meaning of the card focuses around the desert, what actually always catches my attention is first the moon and then the water. Again, maybe that's a reminder that we're all looking at the same image of life, but we can choose to focus on different things, and that changes our experience. As a continuing message from last week's reading, the water, representing our emotions, is still and calm. It's reminding me of the images that we've been seeing of the Venice canals right now, where the absence of people has allowed other parts of nature to rebalance itself. It's calm and clear and abundant with life. If you do find your emotions starting to run on the high side, more like a raging rapids this week, remind yourself to focus on the steady energy of the clear lake surface this week. The moon, trusting your intuition. Now, the moon pictured here is just after the dark of the new moon, where the light begins to peek through again. The dawn coming up after the darkness of the night. So it's a time of new beginning, seeing things in a fresh light, allowing your intentions to take root and begin to grow. The moon represents our emotions and our intuition, and often the fears that we have hiding in our unconscious mind. Here we are seeing the skies as clear and bright, and the light of the moon reflecting on the calm surface of the water like a mirror. I'm feeling this is a time where there is true clarity from our intuitive voice, if we can be still enough just to listen. It's not about what you can see. It's all about what you feel intuitively to be true. That's going to be the strongest guide for you this week. The energy this week continues to be one of reflection and internal contemplation, a chance to examine who you are facing when you look in the mirror. What are you choosing to focus on? What fears have you been too afraid to shine the light on? What amazing qualities have you been overlooking because your critic has been running the show? So what is the path ahead for us this week? And it's overcoming obstacles. You can overcome anything. The path ahead this week may seem blocked, impossible. You are being guided to get creative to overcome any perceived obstacles on your path ahead. It looks to me as if the red robin is literally chirping to get your attention to grab that branch and climb up off of the path, or even step forward courageously and pull the sword of truth from the stone. Doing something that from the outside may seem impossible. It looks like there is only one path ahead, but there are always creative solutions to get around any obstacle. Speaking of red robins, interesting that one shows up for us here as an animal messenger. Robins are symbolic of new growth and renewal in many areas of our life. They arrive with a message that change can be made with joy and laughter, and there's that inner child and spontaneous fun message again. Robin asks that you ride the winds of change and become independent and self-reliant through this experience, and to incorporate new beginnings with trust in the overall process, trusting that the universe does indeed have a plan. Robins represent the season of spring, which we have literally just entered here in the Northern Hemisphere. Spring is symbolic of renewals, fresh beginnings, and hope. You can see that ongoing, consistent theme running through all of these messages. Robins are also the symbol of joy, pleasure, contentment, satisfaction, clarity, rejuvenation, a bright future, and happiness. And speaking of bright futures and bright horizons, something else that caught my attention with this card. On the card, there's a bright, lush, abundant landscape ahead. Despite the current conditions that may seem restrictive, obstructed, dangerous, and limited on personal options, the future is bright. And by keeping that in mind, there is a much greater incentive to get creative with solutions to navigate the current situations that are right in front of you. You have all the resources that you need within you to overcome these obstacles and actually thrive from them. Just like the tree that is strengthened and fortified by the resistance of the wind, or the butterfly's wings that grow stronger as it battles its way out of the restrictions of the cocoon, this too will make you stronger. You will look back one day in gratitude for the person that you grew into because you overcame, all the obstacles during this current time in your life. So as with all times of intention setting, first we sometimes need to release things to actually allow space for new things to come into our life. So what do we need to surrender this week is we need to be surrendering frustration. Frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. And again, I'm sure it's a natural response. A lot of people get frustrated when they find an obstacle ahead or the path that they thought they were walking is blocked. So just remember that, get creative and drop any levels of frustration that might come up around, obstacles and challenges so that you can actually be open-minded enough to think creatively for a solution. And who is our ally energy this week? Well, here he is again. The energy of the hermit joins us once again this week, reinforcing the need for inner contemplation and reflection. Dig deep like the roots of a tree. Be still and calm like the surface of the water. What guidance are you able to hear if you sit quietly in contemplation? Maybe there are those fears coming up, maybe questions or creative ideas that your logical mind is telling you sound impossible right now. Embrace the courage of the Aries energy to set seemingly impossible intentions right now, and trust you have all the resources that you need within to overcome any obstacles that may stand in the way. I invite you to explore the messages that you are receiving and really tune in and trust those intuitive hits this week, and honestly every week. We are in a time of great change, so why not get excited? It means literally anything is possible. Thank you for joining me for this week's Energy Oracle Guidance. Please feel free to share this message with anyone that you feel could use the support right now. And I'd also love to hear how these messages help support you on your journey this week too. Until next time, courageous one, be you, be strong.